Well, hello. Nice of you to join us. You found us again. I'm proud of you. You came all this way, just as we came all this way. And now we're gonna celebrate together by doing one of our favorite traditions here at these sort of live shows and PAX events that we attend, which is walk you through the show floor and the convention experience as we get to see it from our own eyes and ears and perspective. You're watching Hypocritic GG streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. I'm Lou, I'm Cheatspeak. We'll have Teresa Sari Serial joining us here on camera briefly in just a couple of moments. We're going to walk you through the show floor here at PAX Unplugged 2024, show you all of the amazing stuff that's going on from the show floor to tabletop free play to first look to tournaments to the insanely long coffee lines and everything in between. You're going to get to see it all. It's one of our favorite things to do here at Unplugged in particular, because there is so much to see, so much to get a look at from vendors, from amazing, games and dice and accessories you can buy and play with and really get immersed in the entire con experience. It's a really fun way to bring a little bit of that to you. If you weren't able to make it this year, maybe Unplugged's a little too far away, maybe real life gets in the way, as it often does. We're gonna do our best to meet you halfway on that.
How we looking, Teresa?
I think we're looking pretty good.
Look at us.
Good.
We're
Fancy meeting you here.
Wow, it's almost like we've been doing this all week.
Yeah, whoa, what is this? What just happened? That's
hey,
crazy.
Whoa. Who's that we heard?
Oh, hi.
Is that Justin Save the Baloney holding the camera as always?
As always.
My goodness.
I'm back here.
You'll likely hear from him throughout with some fun interjections, thoughts.
Mostly keeping them in line.
Candor.
Probably telling us to stop running away.
Probably.
Hey guys, show them the thing that you're talking about.
We should show them the thing that we're talking about. Follow along. We're going to bring you down to the PAX Unplugged 2024 show floor. And we have a lot to cover this year because, as it turns out, this is not only the largest PAX Unplugged ever on record, but this is also, if I remember my statistics correctly, the first PAX event of any kind, East, West, Australia, Unplugged, to sell out completely all multi-day passes plus individual day passes since 2017. So this is the first time in 7 years
That's crazy.
that an event has completely and totally sold out.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And I think you're going to see that in not just the vibe of the show itself, but obviously the amount of people, even now for Sunday, typically Saturdays on all of these events are the busiest days. But you'll see that there is a lot more going on this year, and it spans a lot more space than I think it ever has here at the gorgeous Philadelphia Convention Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think I've heard more Go Birds the past couple days than I have
ever
in the past 5 days. We'll start here. Several stations like this. Hang out and paint. If you're into miniatures, if you're into creating your own accessories and fun little pieces for your tabletop experiences, setups like these, brought to you by companies like Warhammer, are a great way to take your stuff to the next level, and there is a lot of that to be found on the show floor.
I always wondered how people are able to hold their minis for painting. I never saw those little handles that are on the bottom of them until this show. Those little
there are
grippers. Yeah, they got little grippers to hold them up so that they can paint them without having to touch them.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about a very small thing that's probably hard for you to see.
Where are you going? Don't leave. Where are you going?
Well,
hear us out.
I can't turn around that fast.
Hear us out. Don't leave. You're going to be hearing a lot of that, too.
It's a day.
FYI.
It's been a weekend.
It's been quite the weekend. We'll catch you up as we go along. The queues get pretty lengthy, not just because it takes a while to paint your miniatures properly, but there's obviously a lot of interest in it.
Everybody wants to do a paint and take.
Everyone wants to do a paint. And here we land amongst some of the larger vendors here on the show floor, and this really spans the gamut of what is almost the entire first half of the main show floor here, largely because, as you'll see, a lot of tabletop free play has been expanded and moved upstairs to the top level of the convention hall. That's just how they did it. They took their hand and they just went, right like that.
Picked it right up.
So we're going to span a little bit of this. It's obviously harder to walk through the vendor area because that's where most of the interest is. That's where you're going to see most of the traffic. But you're going to see, again, sort of more toward the middle of the show floor, generally more of the more established, bigger, quote-unquote names and then a lot of the other independent shops and smaller designers and developers over behind us towards sort of the back end of the expo hall. So maybe let's stroll a little bit that way. You can get a bit of a feel for the vibe of the show floor this year. And again, I think you can see right from the outset that it is a very, very healthy show this year.
She be crowded.
Arguably the healthiest that at least Unplugged has ever been. And as we've seen the slow sort of uptake and resuming of conventions like this after the pandemic, and we still, 3-4 years on, aren't quite, in some cases, where we were pre-pandemic. This is perhaps the best example yet of an event really not only getting back to its kind of baseline where we were beforehand, but thriving and exceeding it in real exciting ways. Where are you going? Don't leave.
Come back.
Hear us out.
Kyle, thank you for the compliment on our audio quality on YouTube.
We appreciate the feedback. Yes, post your comments, post your questions. If there's anything specific you want us to maybe try to take a look at, hard to take requests given how fluid it is walking around, but we'll show you as much as we can. Yeah,
I will be watching the chat, I promise.
There we go. I should be doing the same.
I'm barely following them.
I mean, Justin could literally go wherever he wants if he wants to.
This is true. Do we have comments up on screen for this?
Yes? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't recall what it looked like.
It looked like this. But anyway, that's not great content. So anyway.
Right. Yep. At any rate, what you'll see a lot of, again, is not just people selling their own stuff, but, companies,
local game stores
and vendors selling other people's stuff. So if there are, even reasonably popular ones that you remember from years past or have caught your eye, you are almost guaranteed to find them somewhere on the show floor, even if the company that makes it is not here currently. I think a good example of that is Wavelength, which, if you watched our stream yesterday, is a fun game that we played together and really enjoy. That particular company I don't believe is here, but one of the vendors that was open after the show floor closed had what I thought was the last 2 copies, and we were cleaning them out. It turned out they had about 30.
They had 10 more.
So
it was great.
It was definitely not in short supply, and you're going to see that pretty commonly with a lot of these vendors. Again, if they're established sort of more traditional vendors and retailers, or the companies themselves putting out their games and having them available for sale at their booth, which we'll try to show you a little bit of as we continue on down here. There is a lot to get. And we were talking about this a little bit over the weekend, I spend so much more at Unplugged than I do at either East or West or the more kind of video game focused conventions that we typically attend. It is not good for my wallet. It's good for my soul. It's not good for my wallet.
I always spend all of my money on pins, so it's just a matter of if I'm also buying a video game or two, or just $10 billion worth of pins.
We need to do a separate almost session where we just walk through your entire pin collection, because it is vast.
Okay, I'll record the footage, but you have to edit it.
That's fine.
Okay.
We're gonna trade up.
Trade.
Normally that is the exact opposite, because normally I'm doing the content and she's editing it. We'll switch, and that'll be.
If I'm in it, I can't look at it. That's all.
That's all.
That's the problem here. But the pin collection is vast, and I do not want to think about how much money I've spent on pins over the years. It's definitely in the 4 digits, though.
We can do that math.
No,
you're so inclined.
We do not have to.
I'll leave a running counter on screen as I edit. How much? I'm assuming
you have to guess what I paid, because I don't. There are a lot of free pins in there, to be fair, but I don't know. You have to guess.
And I will try. Here's one such example. So we're talking about companies selling their own wares and putting up demo stations, which are obviously so key to the board game and tabletop experience. This is one such example. You walk up, you get a quick demo of whatever game is in front of you. You get to learn the mechanics. You understand how it's all presented. If it piques your interest, it is pretty much always available there for you to get right away. Now, when you get later on Sunday, sometimes companies start running out of things and vendors start to, get low on stock. So if you are a laggard, or you're only here Sunday, or you're catching up on some things, be a little more targeted, perhaps, because...
Kyle asked if we did a mystery box opening, and if we haven't, he wants to see.
We did not do a mystery box opening this year.
I
so
did not really see any for sale.
That seems to be the only thing missing this year.
Yeah.
Normally, so little...
That vendor's here.
Yeah,
just
they're
not
here.
doing...
Yeah, side note, so their Tabletop Tycoon typically does something called the Board Game Booster Box, which is where you pay, I don't know, $50, $60, something like that, and you get some compilation of like 3 to 6 or more random, completely, unknown games just in a box that you then, it's a booster pack for board games. And we've, recorded our unboxings of them in years past, but it doesn't seem like that particular experience is here.
I did see somebody with, like, wrapped gifts of boxes and stuff. I don't know that was necessarily the same thing that we usually do.
No, some did have almost like just dedicated presents, like someone just wrapped games up and put them with a nice literal bow on top, but that's not the same thing.
We'll see if as we're wandering we see it, but I haven't. We've been wandering for 2 days now and have yet to see it, so I'm not sure we're going to get lucky.
This is day 3 of Wander, and I like to think that we've pretty much covered the entirety of this particular show, soup to nuts, wall to wall, window to wall.
Did you just say soup to nuts?
Soup to nuts.
What does that even mean?
It just means everything. It means all encompassed, all in, everything together. I'm 80 years old, secretly, so I just look really
it's
good.
showing.
I'm
with your speech.
I'm David Tennant and Matt Smith at the same time.
That's a good gamut.
I'm not upset. Do you see their hair?
I love their hair.
It hasn't. That's the part
They're both so.
I'm sad about it. Look at all these vendors, folks. Again, there is just endless amounts of this, seemingly, where you can find whatever sort of board game, card game, tabletop experience, piques your interest, fits your fancy, floats your boat. Pick your idiom.
Pick your poison, maybe.
Pick your poison, pick your idiom. It is a great time. We'll walk down this kind of back aisle here just to, again, give you a quick glance at some of the wares and the different kinds of vendors and games and setups that you have, because booths can be, configured quite differently from one another depending on exactly what's on offer here and how much space there is. It's important to note this stuff's not cheap. Booth space and floor space at conventions like this, not cheap.
It's at least a doll hair.
It's probably $6
at least
for like a square foot, a square inch even. Let's take a stroll maybe
this way.
Follow along. We're gonna weave. We're gonna do a little bit of bobbing in and out.
We're gonna bob and weave and make Justin hate us.
This entire activity that we do year in and year out is just an exercise in making Justin appreciate not having to do this again for like 4 months. That's the entirety of the point here. Again, it's not just games. You get all sorts of merch, apparel, accessories for yourself, for your games, for your beloved ones.
My favorite thing to do is buy dice. And pins.
That is a very common pastime here. Miss Nephroptosis, Sarah, who was on with us Friday night for the stream and is commonly around, loves dice so much. Her dice collection is fairly impressive and only growing over time, which is...
It's the only way to have a dice collection.
No, it's true. We have to keep buying more display shelves so she can get them all up, and we're lighting them and mounting them, and it's a whole thing.
That's a lot.
She's very into it.
Gotta use them too, though.
As well as she should be, and we're going to use them more and more.
Full Metal. Hello, Full Metal.
Hey, Full Metal. Come on.
Oh,
in.
my goodness. Well, we can't do that one. We can try to do the first one.
What did they say?
They redeemed Dab.
I can do that.
But they also redeemed Change Shirt. I guess I could technically do that.
You can.
I can do that, but it's going to take a minute.
I would like to not spend the night in jail, so I'm going to dab at least.
Cool. Is PAX like Essenspiel? I don't know what Essenspiel is.
Who is that? What is that?
This is from Black Magia on Twitch.
Hello. First of all, please elaborate. Is that...
If you tell us
some sort of
about what
event,
Essenspiel is, we can tell you if it's similar.
Enlighten my ignorant self.
I'm going to go switch and check over YouTube real quick and see what we got going on over there. Kyle said soup to nuts sounds exhilarating.
Look. They're separate, too. The nuts are not in the soup, just to clarify.
We've lost him. We're going to go around that way and join him again.
He's off on his... Where are you going? Don't leave.
Come back.
Hear us out.
Come back.
Hear us out.
Come back.
Don't leave.
All right, I found bologna.
It's worth it because the quality of fish. The flavor that you gain outweighs the risk.
Oh, Eschenspiel is like a big board game fair in Eschen,
Hear us
Germany.
out.
Then yeah.
Hear us out. Yes, it is. It is exactly that. So this is all board game, card game, tabletop game content and vendors and experiences. So it sounds like it's a pretty good match for what you're describing there. Hello. Variation is nice. As we again kind of take a peek and take a brief moment here. One of our favorite things to do when we're here is sort of, walk you through not just the current show floor, but kind of compare it to and take a look back at other Unplugs that we've certainly been to. And we've been covering this in this sort of form for the last 3 years. 2022 was our first, where we were actually kind of on the ground with equipment, walking around, doing this kind of thing. And it has been really, really fun to see the convention continue to evolve and grow and reach a bigger scale with more people enjoying it and being entertained than we've ever seen. Certainly, like we mentioned at the top, this is the first PAX of any kind, East-West Australia, Unplugged, to sell out since 2017. So it's been 7 years on both sides of the pandemic since we've seen any show like this hit its maximum capacity. Thanks so much. And it's really, really encouraging, and it is fun. Again, hopefully you're getting a little bit of a feel for how much the scale has sort of improved and continued to grow over the past couple of years especially, but you will definitely see as we get down toward the rest of the vendors, the TCG area, and especially tabletop free play, you're going to see how much more sprawl has really occurred. This is fitting in much more of the Philly Convention Center than it used to, which is always encouraging, and it's candidly a pretty beloved show for everyone who attends. It really hits home and is impactful for a lot of people. You see so many folks, especially in tabletop free play, people will sit there all day and all night just playing games with people, getting to cross paths and interact with close friends that maybe you haven't seen in months as you adult and life gets busy. It's a real way to kind of congregate again and get together and spend the weekend just playing games together and shooting the shit as one does.
It's a good little vacation to take, I'd say.
Yeah, pretty much. In the olden days. Very verbose way to...
Shall we?
Let's continue on. Much, much more to see. So we're going to probably start moving you out of the vendor area now and more toward the rest of the show, because we haven't even shown you a third of the main hall yet. So there is much, much more. So again, as you move down this way, you're going to see a lot of those accessories, a lot of those additional sort of merchandise opportunities and vendors. Roll a Crit over here, for example, everything from bag straps to dice to plushies to mugs.
I really like the Roll a Crit Crown Royale bag. That's pretty good.
We like the bag there. Their bag straps are also really, really nice. Even like for my kind of work satchel, my messenger bag, that would be fun. That'd be a fun upgrade. So there's certainly no shortage of ways to spend money at PAX Unplugged, and you can target pretty much any area of your life that is lacking in nerd cred. This is a great way to do it.
I still want to put my hand in the thing.
That's way too vague.
There's like a little froggy game.
I see. You got to put.
It's got like a bowl there, and I really want to put my hand in.
Context. I should have just let that go as was.
You should have, but it's fine.
We all want to just put our hands in the thing.
They don't want to see it anyway.
It's hard to see it. There's always people around it, so I just haven't even bothered yet.
That is probably our biggest challenge when we do these sort of tours. It is hard to get really close in on or focus on any one particular thing, especially when booths get really busy, because you don't have that space. You don't want to get up in people's business. You don't want to be awkward or pushy about it. So we are certainly doing the best we can, and Justin, again, has the thankless job here, because he just kind of follows us along and points at things for as long as he can while we're still walking. That's how it goes. Again, any questions, comments, thoughts as we go along, drop them in the chat.
Black Maya just said, I lost so much money in Essen in October, I think my wallet could not hold both Essen and PAX. Well, not lost, more like I invested it, but it's it's money well spent. Oh, that's what happened.
You're all right?
My pack died.
Okay.
I don't have ears anymore.
Oh, she lost her ears?
That's okay. I knew this might happen. It just surprised me.
we're gonna
We're gonna do our best.
try to communicate as best we can here. But no, that is exactly the vibe and the feeling that you get when you're at these sort of shows. Your wallet really takes a hit, but it's not losing the money. You're exactly right. It's more of an investment. It is, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your mental and emotional well-being. You're investing in your asset collection. Just consider them, they're just assets.
They are assets.
They're good things for you to have. It's never a bad idea until it is a bad idea.
If it sparks joy, you keep it. That's the way, right?
Thank you, Marie Kondo. Which, I gotta say, I find a little ironic, because doesn't she now sell, like, tables and compartment solutions?
I have no idea.
That will now go about...
I do not know enough about this woman. All I know is she says, if it doesn't spark joy, throw it the fuck in the trash.
That is exactly how she says it, word for word, on network TV. But it is true. She does now sell, for sort of like the queen of minimalism, she does now sell things like tables and storage solutions for your home that serve to, hopefully spark joy, because now you're adding to the complexity. Merch.
We have a sign. I think it's very fun.
We have a sign.
We apologize for selling out of merch. This is the first PAX since 2019 to fully sell out, and we did not anticipate this much excitement. We have some items available online, and we'll make sure we have plenty for next year.
All right, so we stand a little corrected. It's 2019, which I think makes a little more sense.
It does, because I think it was like PAX East sold out in 2019.
Would have sold out. That does make sense. But there is still quite a bit available here, and we can look at some of the...
It looks like they dug into the trenches to pull out some older stuff, so it's PAX time.
So it is TJ PAX.
TJ PAX.
As the kids call it. But yeah, there is still quite a bit of wares available, and you can see they sort of just kind of lay it out in its own kind of dedicated space, such that if you want to come in and get your wares and figure things out, again, just hitting the wallet, but you can see, some of what's on offer. All your standard kind of hoodies.
There's a lawful
t-shirts.
naughty crew neck.
Oh dear. Are we going to have to double back for this?
Yes.
And the board games.
If they have it in my size. We'll have to come back later and find out.
The stuff of legend. And a lot of those sort of throwback and, revisiting merch from other years.
This is what you get now.
This is what we get. Hello. Follow along again.
I love a good old close zoom in on the face.
Oh, is that what it was?
I assume so.
That's delightful.
He was zoomed in on the shirt, and then it panned to me, so I don't know what else it would be.
We were not kidding. TJ PAX. How do they get away with that?
Oh my gosh, there's no line for pin trading, and I have pins that I can trade.
Keep it moving. Keep it going.
Fine.
We have so much more.
You know who we didn't see, which is kind of weird?
What?
Level Up Dice.
I don't recall seeing them. You are correct. But a lot of the mainstays like Q Workshop, Lethal Shadows, Dice Dungeons, not sponsored, but I'm a particular fan of Dice Dungeons myself.
Foam Brain.
Foam Brain, yes.
Supposed to be here somewhere.
Can't forget our friends from Foam Brain. Misty Mountain, a lot of the usual suspects that you would expect. And of course, our buddies at Kess.
I wish there wasn't a huge line for that so we could drop the ball on stream. That'd be so much fun.
There's a large D20 that you sort of put through a little dice tower. It rolls and it falls through and you get prizes. You can see it right there. And hear it probably a little bit. It is...
You can get coupons, pins, or a $15/$25 item, and if you get 2 20s, you get a dice set bundle. Or bundle.
Wonderful.
A dice set or bundle.
We love to see it.
Things are happening.
You're okay.
Kess, if you're not familiar, basically Sonic Roll, which we have covered in the past. There's another one, Sonic Speed Battle, that they launched recently that's a little more simplified. You're not rolling anything. Stuff of that nature. Let's continue on, please. There's so much more.
So many stuffs and things to see.
Like I said, this was maybe the first third of the show floor. Again, a lot of demo stations, and these in particular kind of based around miniatures, which makes sense because we are now entering the miniatures section here, which has its own kind of dedicated spot off on, if you're looking at it this way, the right side of the convention hall, and that is exactly, kind of as you might expect. Painting contests, places for you to probably trade or buy your own kind of miniatures, depending on exactly what you need, and all sorts of different games probably tournaments and other sort of free play setups based around.
There's nothing
how
they
is
can
that?
see from here.
Okay. Based around the miniatures experience. We can walk through it a little bit if you'd like, if you want to get a little closer look. See how coordinated that was?
Full Metal asks, the real question is, can you get Tokyo Highway, though?
Well, kids,
I don't know.
we got to talk about Tokyo Highway. No. So, as we've covered on the channel before, Tokyo Highway is a favorite of ours. Hard to get stateside. There is a copy which I did see and took a picture of. I got to put it up in the Discord. Exclamation point Discord, by the way, if you want to get
You
in
found
on
a copy
some of
and
that
you didn't
action.
buy it?
It's in the
Oh, in the game, yeah,
free
library?
play
Okay.
library, yes. So
Fine.
It's probably the same one that we first played a year or two ago.
Good point.
And here, maybe let's take a quick detour. So again, you can
All
kind of
right.
see some of the miniature setups. This looks like it's for a specific game that's kind of numbered, or maybe just a specifically numbered mini table. That honestly, I'm not sure because they look. I'm trying to decide if they're kind of from the same or similar games or packs or not. But I'm not.
Full Metal said Justin has a nice headset.
He does have a very nice headset. It is industry standard. It is industry leading. We love our
very
audio
comfy,
technicals.
too.
It's. I hope so. He's been living in that thing all weekend. I think Sarah actually had it as well for Friday night, so she can probably vouch for it as well. Let's take a quick tour through again some additional sort of
Demo tables.
and play areas for all sorts of different games. We see a Dead Cells branded game there. You've got Hot Banana, Star Realms Academy. And again, this really is part and parcel of what you're going to find at any of these unplugs, but especially this year, you've got a lot of space for exactly that. We saw Foam Brain advertising as they do the Acquisitions Incorporated group, the AC Inc. streams and the live D&D experiences that they do. Part of what's probably our most interesting panel that we attend here. Honestly, from our perspective, there's not a lot of panels that we attend.
Right. We don't do a ton of panels outside of ACK.
That's just kind of our MO. On the whole, not as many theaters and probably not as many panels as you would find at something like East or West or one of those more video game centric conventions, but there's certainly a lot of those for people who are interested. Everything from kind of mechanics, overviews, and how do I board game. If you are a creator who wants to get into the space, or you're a budding designer who wants to do it for the first time, miniature discussions, crafting, behind the scenes and first looks at big things that are coming out. I think was Daggerheart is the new one from
Matthew Mercer and Critical Role Crew.
Yes. So there's certainly panel content if you want it. And from our perspective, though, the only one that we really do, which we do at other PAXs as well, is ACK. It's become a nice way to sort of cap off that particular night.
Usually the first night.
Because they can run for 3 hours or more. So they're pretty lengthy panels and pieces of content. But we like that. Shall we continue?
I think so.
Let's roll this way. Additional PlayStations that will not, the console ones, but the actual literal stations of play. 4 more titles. One thing I will point out, you've probably seen quite a few ads for it by now, but Lorcana, don't ask me for pronunciation.
I really don't know.
Is everywhere. It is by far the biggest sponsor and the biggest kind of advertised presence here at the show. It is all over the paneling. It is all over the signage. It is all over the floor. There are floor ads for it.
There's a Lorcana lounge downstairs.
There's a Lorcana lounge downstairs. If you have notifications turned on in the PAX Nav app, which is where you register your badge, manage your panel calendar, check what's happening when, get the show floor map, at least 1 or 2 notifications a day, because it mostly just blasts you ads, in my experience, is about Lorcana, which is sort of the fact of the matter at these sort of shows. They gotta have your presence in that way, but it's been a lot, and I think it came out last year, maybe? I think this is the 1-year anniversary of Lorcana. But it's much heavier in terms of presence here than it was last year, which kind of makes sense.
Well, I think this is their birthday.
It is their birthday, yeah, that's right.
Teresa, your phone flashlight's just on.
Yeah, your phone flashlight's on.
She's uninterested in that.
Sorry.
She's just,
My ears are dead, too. I'm having a day, man.
We're secretly out here to blind the populace, and they'll never know.
Getting batteries.
Have you considered getting batteries?
I'll go disappear and do that right now.
We don't.
I can do it. I just have to walk away.
We'll be okay. Stay with us. Stay with the people. They want to see you. They want to hear from you.
Yeah. Okay. Got you.
We are in the
pretty
midst.
much into free play.
Yeah, we're getting into free play. So over here, let's maybe head to our left here a little bit as we do some battery work here. Again, more vendors, but we want to show you a little bit of the dedicated TCG space that is here, because obviously a huge part of the tabletop experience more broadly under that umbrella is card games, and dedicated ones like Pokemon, like Magic the Gathering, like...
What are you pointing at?
We're just kind of here. We're just kind of...
We've made it.
It's around. Trust him.
Yes, no, we're going toward it. Come on. We're gonna show you. There's a plan. There was always a plan in hand. I'm gripping it firmly. Trust me.
Firmly grasping it.
Firmly grasp it. This is part of the tabletop area, and we'll show you the Magic example here, because it's probably the most blatant and biggest one. But these sort of stations all over this part of the floor, where you can do everything from learn to play and get your roots set in the particularly popular ones. Magic's obviously a big one for how do I play this, how do I learn, because it is one of... It's complicated, certainly, but it's also one of the biggest card games out there. So it makes sense to make it accessible for people to learn if you're like me and have very, very little experience with it. And then there's obviously, league play, it says here, PvP zone for tournaments, all these sort of things. And there are dedicated spots for other TCGs as well. Star Wars Unlimited, Lorcana, Pokemon, a lot of the big hitters that you're now commonly seeing at shows like this, you're going to have a big presence for, and there's certainly enough room for it. But speaking of room, as we move more toward a kind of tabletop free play and showing you how that has expanded, especially since last year, it is pretty considerable how much Unplugged has sort of physically grown and sprawled, even from just 1 year ago.
For sure. I will note, Magic the Gathering does have a bigger presence than normal because of their most recent set release, which is Foundations, which is meant to be like their new base set type thing.
Their new foundation?
Yeah.
That's their foundation?
Exactly.
Wow. That is well named.
Listen.
It's almost like they knew what they were doing.
I'm not the one in charge of marketing.
From a product perspective.
It's better than very unnecessary expansion.
Yeah. They have a lot of those too, though, so like...
Magic the Gathering, completely frivolous additional cards. Please buy.
Please buy.
Booster packs have 3.
Which to wear now?
Let's head toward free play, if you don't mind.
What if I mind a little bit?
We're probably at the 20th Eagles jersey we've seen here as well.
There were so many today.
There are so many. I mean, rightfully so. Philly is incredibly passionate about their sports teams, and the Eagles probably more than any other. They are 10-2 as we currently do this. But you're not here for sports ball discussion, I'm assuming.
I was gonna say I don't even know who's played who.
1 or 2 of you are, and I know you wouldn't mind. But we're gonna keep it focused for all those who are not watching this in real time. You're welcome in advance. Tabletop free play is, if there's any real highlight of the Unplugged experience, it's probably this. All of this space. This has to be an entire quarter or third of the expo hall by itself. This is where the magic happens. Not the Magic the Gathering magic, we were just there. This is a lot of the real meat and potatoes and the heart and the soul of PAX Unplugged. We'll walk you more toward the game library, which is at the end of the hall, the very end of the hall. But essentially, if you've never done this sort of thing before, you can check out any board game that is in PAX's library, tied to your convention badge. So if it goes missing, they know who to track down. And you can just play. You can play to your heart's content for as long as you want on any given day. And there are people who, some of whom I know very well and have for a long time, who will do nothing but get here early in the morning when the convention hall opens, either with games they bring from home or things they get from free play, sit down at a table and go from when the convention opens to the convention closure time and do nothing but hang out in free play.
There's a fine line between hanging out in front of a pillar and showing you nothing and being in the way.
It's a very fine line to tread. We're gonna opt for showing you stuff. But this is really it, and this is what contributes primarily, I think, to the sort of more laid back and relaxed and casual vibe of something like PAX Unplugged. You have this very open, very welcoming, very chill environment where you find games you want to discover and play. You check out something new. You bring something that you already know and love. Find friends. You can look for groups and meet new people who are interested in the same games and content as you, and just go nuts. And like I said, there are people who literally do it all 3 days, soup to nuts, start to finish, when the con opens and when the con closes.
Soup to nuts is still just so weird.
Is it really that obscure
Yeah.
a saying? Is it
Have you
truly?
heard of it before, Bologna?
No.
God damn, okay. Well,
Let's
I
walk.
sprouted 5 more gray hairs hearing that. We'll take you through. You want to go down an aisle?
Sure.
Sure.
Why not? But this is really what it is, and we say this a lot as we produce coverage of this, and we come here. East and West, now that we are going to West regularly, tend to be a lot more structured for us. They tend to be a little more rigid in terms of how much there is to do, what we're sort of covering, and where we are, when throughout the day and the weekend. It's much more sort of casual and relaxed as far as Unplugged goes. You, at least in our point of view and perspective, you don't really have that sense of needing to bounce between different events, hopping from game to game, standing in lines for a very long time. One thing you will have probably seen is, aside from things like the miniatures, there's not a whole lot of waiting.
Yeah, there's not a lot of lines coming out.
Which, if you're familiar with any other PAXs, they are in a lot of ways line simulator for the given year and whatever they've upgraded since last year's game. But not Unplugged. So you really are able to get much more immediate access to the demos of new games you're looking for, to the game library and sort of hanging out. It's a much more immediate show in that sense. So you spend less time planning your day out and more time doing and playing, which is kind of the dream.
And here we have the tabletop library.
Here is the game library. So everything is kind of sorted alphabetically in this very large space, and you can kind of get a feel for how much there is in this library. So despite the tens of thousands of people being here, there is so much that you can grab and experience and play and experiment with. We have discovered so many great games over the years explicitly through the tabletop free play area, and it's a game changer.
You can see it. There's Tokyo Highway. They have 3 copies.
They have 3 copies?
They have 3 copies
Yes, you
of
can
Tokyo
see it.
Highway.
Can we?
Can we have one?
Where?
You don't
Okay,
know.
so halfway down this table, you see the
Oh,
gray?
yeah.
You got it.
Let's see what we got.
I'm going to try to push in on it for you, and you can see
There it is.
toward the middle of the frame there. There they are. There's the boyos. This was how we found Tokyo Highway the first time, either last year or the year. I can't even remember how long it's been, because now it's just a part of us.
1 year, 2 years?
I think it might have been last year. We got to go check the
I'd
tape.
believe it.
But that's I think the best example probably of how great the free play experience is here. You can just discover things
Look
that
at those lines. Look
you
at
absolutely
those.
love.
So
Look at those
many
lines. This is amazing. Again, it's very immediate. You can walk in, get pretty much whatever fits the bill one at a time. Keep in mind, you can't just be renting out the whole thing. You can't be taking the whole library home. You can get a little wagon, start wheeling your wagon around, bunch of games out of here. No. One at a time.
Only if you have that many friends.
That part of the experience is not soup to nuts. You cannot have the whole game library. Don't ask me again. I'm not going to help you do it. Can't be done.
Should we show them upstairs now?
We should show them upstairs. So here's the interesting part, and like we were saying, the sprawl and the scope of Unplugged has really dramatically increased this year. A lot of that comes with the entire top floor of the convention center now being used for additional stuff and additional sites to see. First Look, which was normally down here, which is where you sort of get preview access to unpublished and experimental games from publishers and designers, and the entire second half of tabletop free play. So it's gotten even bigger, and even with that, even with all that space, all that seating, all of the activity here at the show, there's still that much on offer in the free play area. So there's no shortage of stuff There's no shortage of games to play. This could literally be all you do all weekend.
Yep.
Easily.
And it's worth it.
It is.
I think a lot of people do that. I think for a not insignificant portion of the people here, the vendors and the new games are a smaller draw than being able to come, hang out, play games. I mean, certainly you want to go check out, the booths and everything else and see what you like. But I mean, this is the bread and butter is sitting down with friends, playing some games.
It is the heart and soul of the experience for sure. So let's show you more of that and head up to the highest level, quite literally, of PAX Unplugged experience. And we'll take you to the top floor.
I really want to punch those towers over.
Oh, don't be mean about it.
But it looks like fun to watch them all collapse.
Destruction is just in human nature. We like see stuff fall
I don't know
down.
what she's talking about.
The
either,
Verizon
guys.
booth
The
over there.
Verizon booth, you want to go? Stop it. I'm not. This is Verizon. They're our favorite vendor.
No, I said I wanted to knock over their towers. I didn't say they were my favorite vendor.
Let's
I
spend
said I
some
wanted
time
to
at
ruin
this
their
booth,
things.
guys.
I said I wanted to ruin it all.
Let's take a look at...
Are we going the wrong way?
I don't think so. I think
Okay.
there's escalators on both
Sick.
sides. So one thing I should also point out is if you've been to, again, shows like East or West, there is a much more sort of corporate presence in that there are a lot of bigger
way.
brands the size of people like Verizon or companies like Verizon, where at Unplugged, I think that was the only really big kind of branded station on the
think
entire show
so.
floor, which is interesting.
I didn't
So,
really see anybody else, which thank
not
goodness.
really. But, at East especially, you'll get people like Dunkin' Donuts.
Wrong side.
See, I
filling-
knew it.
That's only down.
That's only down.
Escalator is down only, but straight ahead you can find escalator B, which will take you to level 4. Well,
That's
here
okay.
we are acting like we're totally informed about what's going on and that we actually have a lock on this. She's giving me a look.
Because I said, aren't we going the wrong way? And you were like, no.
Well, so I knew there were escalators on both sides. I assumed that they were, both two-way traffic. Alas,
Well,
that's the
wrong.
fire department valve.
You turn that on for fire, right?
In case of smog, actually, I believe.
Interesting.
It's a smog clearance device.
I guess we all
Let's
need
discuss
some.
the intricacies of fire safety in a convention center.
Let's not.
Floor by floor,
Nah.
the need to not just quickly put out fires, but alert the populace.
We can stop this at any point.
We can. We're not gonna. Welcome to the corporate safety training video.
Can you mute his mic?
Fire safety is important. No.
Thank you.
They actually muted me.
We have the power.
If I had the capability to be offended, I would be.
You'll be okay.
I'm incapable of offense or shame, as we discovered today.
Probably the better way to live, honestly.
Can I tell the elevator story again? I'm just really proud of it.
Yes. I hate it, but yes.
She was so mad. Well, for reference, we were leaving the hotel this morning, and I forget why there was a family. There was clearly enough room in the elevator for them and us, but they, maybe out of concern for all the stuff they had, said, "Oh, we'll take the next one," or whatever. So I said out loud, intending to be funny, "Oh, they don't want to get on the elevator with us." We stopped on the next floor down, and there was another person or two.
I think
There was a person
who
with
clearly
a
heard
stroller.
it through the door.
Yeah, with like 2 babies in strollers. And again, they were like, "It's okay, I'll take the next one." They thought about it. I think they tried to get on a little bit. No, and then the elevator doors closed, and I yelled even louder, "No one wants to get on the elevator with us." We stopped the next floor down, and just one lady with a single carry-on bag very obviously can get in the elevator, just kind of looks, I'll take the next one, kind of timidly, and it closes. And I realized in that moment, as
People have ears?
I still don't know what those are, so sure. But not, that's a real pro tip. So while they're like mortified and like begging me to shut up, I'm over here thinking, I just discovered an amazing life hack for how to keep the elevator to yourself, no matter where you are. So I think that's, for all of you who are looking for exactly that sort of life hack, I'm not helping.
Would this
the
be
cause.
considered an unethical life pro tip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Here we are at Unpub. Our friends at Unpub, the Unpublished Games Network, are here to host dozens of tables of prototype playtesting. With new titles rotating in after each half day, test brand new board games and be among the first to experience what might be tomorrow's hits. I'm just going to read while he pans around. Direct from showcases in Germany, Japan, and beyond, First Look lets you get hands-on with games that have yet to hit North American shelves. This is the First Look portion of it as well. Games are permanently set up for the day, so feel free to grab a seat or fill a group. Need help setting up, finding players, or learning rules?
Brought to you by Eschenspiel.
Is that who you were talking about? Look at this.
That's who Black Manager was talking about.
How about that?
Amazing.
I think the kids call that synergy.
We love synergy
Happenstance.
in this house.
Some of these games are one of a kind and on loan to PAX, so please treat them with respect and do not remove any games from their tables.
Looking at you, Lou.
When did I do that?
Oh.
Tables. It's just tables. And dealing with Eddie Munster.
If you want to know what they have, scan, quick.
Hurry up! Now's your chance.
Yeah, you can
away.
see it.
Too late.
God, can't spend that much time. So that is Unpub and First Look, and that is half of the floor up here, and it's a pretty substantial amount of space up on the top floor here as well.
The other half is the rest of free
Is
play.
the rest of free play. Now they are very proud of having this additional free play space, and I'd like to show you that because there's several banners, and it is everywhere that they are advertising there is much more free play space upstairs, and it is true. And honestly, one of the best changes I think that they made for this year.
What they could do though? They
What's
could
that?
add 1,000 more seats.
They could use even more space.
Honestly, yeah.
I don't know if there is any more space on this floor or if this is the entirety of it. I've never seen the room used, because Pokemon tournaments and things that I used to do at this convention center were also up here, and I've never seen this top floor get bigger. So I'm not sure that there is more room.
I mean, you know where there's more room? On the first floor.
That is true. There is a lot, and we don't typically go down there because it's mostly just sort of ancillary, like meetup rooms and additional kind of vendors.
And it is more free play, just quiet free play.
Yeah, you have
That
to
is
find
true.
it.
We should mention 3 separate.
You have to whisper.
Was that
We really
and has
wanted to
that
talk
always
about here it
been
is.
part of it?
I think it has been.
There's your signage. Hey, look, it's like regular free play, but upstairs now. There's like 1,000 seats in here, and you can sit at theoretically any one of them to play a game or just hang out. Bring your PAX badge to Tabletop Library to check out a game to play, either here or in main free play downstairs. Oh, interesting. You can use the orange LFG cones at tables to find a group, or use mastodon.social to search for tabletop looking for game, #TTLFG. Mastodon, huh? Y'all on Mastodon? We're not on Mastodon.
We're not on Mastodon.
We're on Blue
We
Sky,
could
though.
be.
If you want to follow us on Blue Sky, Hypocritic GG, now on Blue Sky, our new social media home.
Yeah.
How flawless was that plug? I'm pretty proud of
So
that.
good.
So good.
Where to next?
Let's head back down and start to recap a little bit of this. So we've seen the entirety of the show floor. We've talked a little bit about how it's evolved. You've seen how big tabletop free play has grown this year. To start to put a capper on it, it really is evident, I think, how much healthier Unplugged has looked in particular, maybe relative to some of the other shows that they put on, and how much passionate interest there is from the broader community in this specific event. It really has grown substantially. This is the first time, like we've been saying a couple times now, that any PAX has sold out since before the pandemic. But I think it's really interesting and notable that the first event to do it was Unplugged.
There's definitely been a big resurgence in board games, I think, in recent years, as people try to be less online.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Is it out of a desire to be more in-person and social, where a lot of video game content, especially recently, has by necessity kind of moved toward an online-only infrastructure? You just don't see kind of couch co-op or those local multiplayer experiences like you used to. I think, can we be good escalator denizens here, not block the box?
Yeah.
Just all up in the business. But no, it is.
Escalators.
What are escalators? It's really encouraging to see, and while it was not the primary focus of our channel, I think, for a long time, as we've sort of dipped more and more into the space, gotten a little more involved and invested in it financially, as well as, with time and interest, it's been really encouraging to see how much this show in particular has grown, has evolved in really healthy ways, it looks like, too, because as these shows get bigger and they change and things happen, not all of those changes are good. Not all of that activity is positive. But at least from the Unplugged perspective here, it has been really positive and really encouraging to see.
For sure. We have reached the bottom of the escalator, and I was afraid of tripping.
Yeah,
so
we got it.
yeah. And
so
then,
what's your take on the Unplugged experience this year?
It's been good fun. We found a couple new games to try. We found a lot of places to go, and
And yes, and lots of stuff. No, it has been a lot of fun. I think you'll be seeing at least a few of those games over the next couple of weeks. We'll try to stream a few. We'll certainly let you know what has come our way. Do you want to earmark any in particular that we've bought? And there are still more that I need to buy today. So like I said, the wallet just takes a really considerable hit when we come to Unplugged. Hello.
I am excited to play Landmarks.
Yes.
The demo we played was very scripted, and I want to play it for real and maybe throw you guys into pirate mouths.
What better way could there be to spend our time than being thrown
vertically?
I prefer vertically, actually. So I was glad that you angled that as social media intended.
Couldn't pull off that escalator angle without really making the gimbal mad.
I got very upset.
I guess not. We're stabilized. We're corrected. We're good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Landmarks is going to be a lot of fun. I think we've covered it in the past. At least we've seen it in person here, and we might have mentioned it, but there's a fun sort of... Well, no, we just played it on Friday. Expect Delays is the fun kind of head-to-head strategy transit game that we've really enjoyed. I certainly get a big kick out of it, having experienced that Metro system myself for a long time, and knowing how fun that is to try to navigate. So that's been really good. And there are others that we'll be talking about and showing off, and there's certainly more we got to go by today as we hit the last couple hours of the show here. Most of Unplugged across the weekend it opens at 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning.
So 9 o'clock for the free play area, 10 o'clock for the expo show floor.
And the show floor closes at 6 p.m. every day. On Friday and Saturday, the free play areas and the rest of the show stays open until midnight, much like other PAXs do.
Yep.
But of course, the last day, you can't have too much fun, and it stops. Everything stops at 6 p.m.
They have to go to bed at some point.
No, we don't.
They do, not us.
Who is they?
They.
The
broader general they.
The royal they
Yeah.
needs to go to bed. But it is, so we're going to maximize our last couple hours here. Hope you enjoyed this walkthrough of 2024's version of PAX Unplugged. It's always great fun, and we love bringing you this sort of walkthrough and kind of immersiveness in it. So if you couldn't be here in person, if you've been wondering what all the hype is about, hopefully you have a little bit of a better understanding of what it's like to see it all for yourself. At any rate, I'm Lou, I'm Cheatspeak.
I'm Teresa Cereal.
We will be back on
That was
Justin saved the bologna.
I stepped on his...
That was so rude.
I stepped on his... I'm here. I know. You finish it. It's fine. I'm gone.
Never mind. Come back.
All right. Well,
I don't do closings.
No, it's all good. All right. Thanks so much for watching,
thanks
everybody.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
There you go.
Goodbye.
All righty.
Here's Lou.
All right. We'll be back on Tuesday with more of the usual stuff. But again, hope you enjoyed this. There is going to be a little bit more for the next few hours that we crank out for interviews and other kind of show content here. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed our look this year at PAX Unplugged. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Stay fresh,
Catch you back here real soon.